Ava Gisonni. How do you say? Ava
You
Gisonni.
need to send me that bit of when you say when Ava Gisonni.
Ava Gisonni?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ava Gisonni. I hope you know what you just said.
Everyone,
Hi.
welcome to Nash Studio Podcast. Today we've got Ava Gisonni. She's a healthcare assistant, a student nurse. She's into strength fitness. She's got big muscles, and she's a beautiful girl. So, welcome.
Thanks.
So, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I have been working in healthcare for 3.5 years now. I am currently a healthcare assistant and apprentice nurse. So I've been working at the hospital for 3.5 years. And then I started my nursing journey almost 6 months into working as a healthcare assistant. I just started third year, so it's starting to get real now. Perks of the apprenticeship, I guess. It takes a long time. But yeah, like outside of work, super sporty. I'm always really active, going to the gym, doing weightlifting competitions. So yeah, it's the things that are keeping me sane throughout nursing school.
Definitely.
But yeah.
I was wondering, when I first came in the country, I didn't know what nurse apprentice was. Do you think you could tell us a little bit about what it is?
Yeah, so it's kind of like working whilst going to school, I guess. So obviously, like a full-time job is like 37.5 hours, like as a contract. So the trust that you work at kind of fund the course you're on. And what that does, so with the apprenticeship, your student hours and your working hours are split. So in the first part of the course I did, so I did a foundation degree, and now I've started the top up. It's gone on to like the bachelor's degree. The foundation degree, so the first part took about 15 months, and then with that I would be working, I think it was about 20, no, it wouldn't, it would be 30 hours. And then I had 7.5 hours as a student. And so the student hours could be split. So I'd either be at uni learning my theory, or I would be at work as a healthcare assistant. And then now that's finished and I've started the top up. I started the top up last October. So now my hours are split differently. I'm working as a healthcare assistant 15 hours and then 15 hours a week, and then my student hours are now 22.5 hours. So that again, it's like split between either theory work at uni or on placement. So it very much like can vary. But then closer to the end of the course, my hours will change and I'll go into a full-time student just so I can make sure everything's done, have my dissertation. So it's
It's like so much more organized than us.
It doesn't feel organised.
I know.
But I think that's just because obviously there's work where my hours could be all over the shop, and then I could be at uni Monday to Wednesday. So if my hours are all over the place, sometimes I feel like there's a lot more going on.
Also, have you got night shifts? Is it mandatory to do night shifts while you're on placement as well?
So
really?
But I don't think we have
Crazy.
as many night shifts to do as you do as a full-time student.
Mm-hmm.
So I think throughout the whole top up, we've got to do, I think it's like 5 night shifts. So it's not too bad. But I guess if I have my night shifts as a HCA, then it could merge into one. But when I'm on placement, it feels like I'm doing so many more hours because everything, I've got to make sure I've got my placement hours in as well as my HCA hours. So I feel like sometimes I end up doing a whole load more.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes the uni or even your work doesn't really understand.
No,
what
and
you're doing as well, isn't it?
no, and the fact that obviously everyone has a social life. Like you have your own personal life with your friends and your family. So obviously it's balancing that as well because you've got work, uni. Like sometimes you feel like you don't have time for your own personal life, but you need to really make sure that you're getting that in. Otherwise, you will go nuts.
Yeah, that's so true, actually. Even like myself, I feel like at this current time I'm doing crazy hours in the hospital. It
Yeah.
feels like I should just get a bunk bed and just stay like with the on calls, because honestly it's mad.
Yeah.
I think what is making me go throughout all this is because I'm towards the end,
Yeah.
because I spend roughly about 5 to 7 days a week solid in the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
this is a whole day. It's not 8 hour shift. It's 12,
Yeah.
13 hour shift.
Mm-hmm.
So it's driving me mad a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm almost finishing. So
Home
I'm very,
stretch, home run,
honestly,
home stretch.
it's
Yeah.
just like, I feel like for some people as well, they might feel like there's no ending to it, and that um it's not worth it. I hope it will be worth it, really, because
Yeah.
you'll get a stable job, you do something that you love, you have some knowledge as
And it's
well.
really rewarding.
It's so rewarding, isn't it?
It doesn't always feel like it at the time because you're so drained, but looking at it overall, it can be super rewarding.
Yeah, I think we'll become more human. I feel
Yeah.
more kind.
Well, we won't have the worries of having to do like uni work. Like, obviously, you're going to be going to uni now,
Yeah,
plus doing your own uni work, like the stuff you need to work on yourself, or if there's like self-directed stuff, you won't have that. You've just got your working hours. So as long as you keep work as work and don't take it home, then
yeah.
should
There,
be a
there
lot
is
easier.
this must as well. You need to separate
Yeah,
work from home, but when you're doing so many hours,
it gets tough.
it gets really difficult because
Yeah,
you want to be professional, but at sometimes you just want to have a good laugh,
yeah.
and it's all about balance.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So, what is your best placement snack?
Snack.
Like,
Um, I have a big sweet tooth, so I love even just having like a bowl of cereal. But also, I like something that's gonna keep me full, but not be too heavy. Because if we're going hours without breaks, I want something that's gonna keep me going. So yogurt with granola and like frozen berries, like hits the spot for me.
she's so healthy, honestly. I don't know, honestly. Um, yeah, really, she's always healthy. She always cooks her meals,
Always
everything.
is pushing it. I say sometimes slash most of the time.
Every time I see you, at least you're having a healthy meal. You just described that a snack. It could be with granola, so I think
Yeah.
that represents how healthy it is. Um, what is your fake it till you make it face when someone asks you to do something new?
It's a fake smile. Be like, yeah, okay. Like, or I will just straight up, or I will just straight up and be like, I don't have the time to do that because sometimes I can't fake it, and it just does my head. And if people are like constantly nagging me to do something when I've got more than my like own jobs to do anyway.
So I must tell you something. Me and Ava, we've met on my second placement
You
of
were in
first
first year,
year.
yeah.
So in the beginning of my journey, and in this year, which is my final year, we've met again on a trauma and orthopedics ward. Just for your knowledge, we do a lot of bloods,
Yeah.
and I've asked this beautiful girl to take some blood off me, and then I regretted it. And her face was this fake smile she just showed us, so I'm a bit concerned.
It's a fake it till I make it. I did it.
You did it,
successfully.
and it was successful. But it was not
just
to me. It was to another girl that kindly volunteered to give you some blood.
yeah, I was just nervous. It was like the first time I did it.
Yeah.
And now,
Really? Ever?
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah, but now I'm just like, whoop, done.
Was it Teresa?
Yeah.
Teresa, we love you. She's one of our guests in the podcast at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. She is going to be a good deal with our podcast business.
Yeah.
Oh, God. One thing that you thought you will never do. I think I know the answer for this one. But now it's just a Tuesday, like.
I think cleaning people up.
I knew it. I knew it! I knew you were going to say this.
I had, like, obviously.
That's a classic one.
Yeah, like, I knew I would have to do it, but the amount of times I have to do it, did not think I would have to do it as much as that. Yeah. I think that's the one. Yeah. And if we want to get more, like, deep, when I first started, when I was, like, 18, literally, like, my second shift, I had to do last offices.
Oh my God.
And now, like, it can, so because I work on an elderly ward, sometimes it can be a bit more common. And because of that, it's just kind of like, it's part of the job, you've got to do it, and you do have to disassociate, like, your emotions. Like, it can be very upsetting, like, as expected, but you've got to do it. So yeah.
I'll just mention to some people that do not know, or they're not used to the term of last offices, means doing the last body clean of the person that just passed. So this is very frequent, isn't it?
It can be, yeah.
It goes, I feel like it goes like,
it fluctuates.
waves.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah.
It's just mad that we do this for a living.
Yeah.
And it's something that used to be new for us. Well, to be really honest, I've never done it.
You haven't? I first did it when I was, like, fresh, like, into the job, like 2 weeks into the job, and I was like 18. So
I'll tell you a secret. So basically, one of the nurses, I was on a healthcare assistant, not even a student nurse, shift, and she came to me and she was like, so you need to go do this bed space, go into this bed space and do the last offices.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm not sure about that. She's like, well, you've picked this job, you need to go do it. And I was like, hold on a second. First, you don't talk to me like that. I've got feelings here somewhere. I got feelings. She was so rough, and I was like, now definitely I'm not gonna do it, because there are some things in your job, and this is something so important to say.
Yeah.
You must say no if you don't feel comfortable.
100%.
Just because you're a nurse doesn't mean you can't do anything and everything.
Yeah.
Like, do what you feel like doing. Obviously, you need to be a tough cookie, really. But, like, if there's something like you don't want to do it, you need to speak up for yourself, because no one else will. They'll just make you, like, they'll just push you to do anything.
Yeah, no, 100. If you don't feel confident or comfortable, speak up. Like, no one's going to make you do anything you don't want to do. Obviously, if you don't feel comfortable with something, then, like, you could do that particular thing with someone, just so you can get, like, reintroduced to that particular thing. But yeah, if you don't feel comfortable, then someone else can always step in and do it for you.
But then there was this lovely nurse, this was on the same time, and I was like, sorry, I don't feel comfortable, but I believe that exposure would make me get that strength. So do you mind if I'm a bit creepy, but, like, just stand there and help you with, like, anything, if you need a towel or anything, but just like kind of like step back a little bit. Is that okay? She was like, yeah, that's fine. There's no problem. It's all about how you communicate as well.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
just, I was scared. She was making me do that. And I was just like, actually, hold on. I'm almost 30. This girl is not going to make me for no money. You
Yeah.
know, for no money. I will do
Yeah.
something I really don't, that makes me feel really bad.
Mhm.
It's just not gonna happen, you know.
Mhm.
Honestly, crazy things could happen in a hospital. Describe nursing. I hope I'm not sounding like too, like, you know, bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
I think, like, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
because you, when I say these things, I'm just
Yeah.
scared, or of the perspective of others.
Um. So nursing is it can be very tough and hard, mostly because of the workload. Sometimes because of the patients. Like obviously every patient's different. Some are very difficult. Let's just say that. Obviously some are like very easygoing and it's so easy to crack on with your work. It can be super rewarding. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that at the time because of how like demanding the work can be. But then like looking back at it, you're like, wow, like I really made a difference for that patient, or even if it was like another member of staff, like you can really help others. And sometimes even like little things such as like talking with patients or communicating with patients a different way, like really makes their day. So when you can see that a patient's really appreciative of that, it makes me feel so much better and like I'm doing a good job even during stressful shifts.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, and obviously like different things like and so being on an elderly ward, obviously, so like elderly patients are more susceptible to developing delirium, which is normally like it's an acute issue, normally cause for infection. Um, and some patients' delirium can be so bad, like they're a completely different person to what they're normally like. And even seeing them like progress so much that their delirium completely resolves and they're back to normal, it's so nice seeing that because they're a completely different person.
yeah,
They could come in completely, totally confused, not able to form sentences normally because they just can't put a sentence together, and suddenly you're having a conversation about what they did with their wife, like on or like how they met their wife or their husband, or something like that. Like it's really heartwarming. So the job can be super rewarding.
and yeah, I agree. And yeah, when a family comes as well, just like, oh, so you're
Yes.
this
Yeah.
person. Oh, I've heard so much about you.
Yeah.
And they're like, ah, you know, they got all
Yeah.
happy and like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
It's
so
really
nice.
nice.
Yeah. But you know, I've learned there is like three types of delirium,
Mhm.
because I'm doing critical care placement at the
Right.
moment.
Yeah.
So there's hyperdelirium,
Hyperactive delirium. Yeah.
and there is the mixed one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just like I'm dead. Actually, I'm quite energetic today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so rewarding
Yeah.
when you have those moments of consciousness.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah.
Right. We're starting fun bit on this episode. So from now on, I'm introducing something. Wait, something new to the podcast. So it's like fire questions, but for Ava is a bit more. She could develop a little bit more if you want. So I'm calling this fire questions. I'm gonna put some fire. Right, you ready?
Mhm.
Describe nursing school, but no swearing. Or okay, one max.
Okay. I don't. I might not even need one. Um, Fun but stressful. Super unorganized. I feel like mostly because of the apprentice side. Like if we have resubmissions, or we hand in like a draft essay, but then like you've got like a week to submit the actual like essay, but then I'm like, hold on, like we're not like normal full on students. We work. Like if we were on night shifts, like we can't do our uni work at work. Like you're not allowed to. But then during the day, I'm sleeping. I physically can't do that. So that's why I feel like it's unorganized. But I also feel like it brings you really close to other people because you're all going through the same thing.
Yes.
So
Trauma bonding.
yeah, no, literally. Might not be the best way of bonding, but it's bonding.
Oh, that was a good description.
Yeah.
I couldn't say anything different. Right. Something that's small, but it's kept you going so far.
I think like doing the things I love in my personal life, like the weightlifting. I think if I hadn't have carried on doing that, I would have genuinely gone insane. And making sure you are spending time with like your friends and your family. Like I might come off like 3 long days on the trot, and I would be wiped out. So like I'm like I need to make sure I'm spending time with my friends and family, or like if I might be 2 long days, or I might have done some night shifts, but I'm free in the evening, so I could go out with some friends. Like making sure you have your personal life intact is key.
It's key for your
Even
sanity.
like obviously now at uni, but I feel like it's going to be just as important when fully qualified.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm going for a long holiday. Nobody's gonna see me. Not inside the hospital. I'll be posting some pictures. A lot of pictures.
Yeah.
I'm. So after this placement,
Mm-hmm.
this final placement, I'm going on another placement because I love my job. So the university has put out an elective placement,
Mm-hmm.
and I was one of the winners.
Nice.
So I'm going to Sri Lanka this year. I
Nice.
know, for a whole month, and they pay everything. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
That
props to them,
sounds.
actually.
Yeah. I
Props to them.
think obviously since you're like a full-time student, you're able to do that. But as an apprentice, we don't get long summers or placements like that. It's a bit different because we still have our working shifts to do. So obviously I wouldn't be able to do it for like a whole month because we
Yeah,
only get like 2 months off in August. 2 months, 2 weeks off in August.
but you don't have this offer as an apprentice.
No, which
It's
is
just
obviously
a
not
normal
so
route
great
as well.
because I would love to do a placement abroad like that.
Yeah, because it's so expensive. There's another companies. If you want to know, I can put it on the comments. But there's like another companies that do it, and it's so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's unbelievable,
Yeah.
honestly. So I'm so grateful. Thank you, Anglia Ruskin University, for this really nice opportunity. If you are a student already, just talk to your tutors. Just talk to ARU Go. I can put the link here or something. And they've paid for my trip, the whole trip,
Mm-hmm.
flights, accommodation, everything.
Wow.
I think NHS also supports you if you need
Mm-hmm.
like vaccination or
Yeah.
medication or
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's really good to feel supported into this big step, because it could be seen as a step out of the range
Yeah.
of students that apply for a new job, or just have another experience. Right, most chaotic shift.
Okay, I already know this one. So
Was it with me? No.
don't think so. It was quite early on from when I started working at hospital, and probably early on when I started the apprenticeship.
Hmm.
But it was on a HCA shift.
Mm-hmm.
I had 9 patients. 3 of them were red specials,
Mm-hmm.
and then and this particular incident, which like makes me think, oh my, this is chaotic. I also had 3 patients that are red trays. So obviously, red trays being that they need assistance with eating,
Yes.
or like they might not be able to feed themselves at all, and in this case, they couldn't. And then red specials are patients that need one-to-one like care and like enhanced observations. I had so yeah, within my 9 patients, 3 red specials, two, and then the 2 red trays on my own. It got to lunchtime. The patients who were the red specials, they had settled, sat in their chair, eating their lunch. So I said, okay, perfect. I'm gonna feed my patients that are red trays. Um, However, my patients are split into different bays. My 3 red specials were in one bay, but then 3 of my other patients and the 2 red trays were in another bay. So it was really difficult because how am I meant to keep an eye on the specials that need one to
Yeah.
one care
Different spaces.
in different rooms? I can't do that. I physically can't do that. My nurse at the time, I think she was a new nurse, so she needed assistance herself and wasn't fully aware of like how we need to work together and help, even though I would ask her to just keep an eye on them patients. And on this particular day, so I'd finished feeding my red trays, I'd gone back into the bay with the specials. I was sat in between the specials, and they were at this point they were both in their bed trying to get out. You're not allowed to physically restrain patients, you can only help guide them if needed. They were both trying to get out of bed, and a matron walks in to the ward.
Fantastic.
And she's asking me why I'm sat there, like in between the 2 patients that are trying to get out of bed. I said, I physically can't like separate myself. I can't divide myself anymore. I'm in the middle of them because then I can do the documentation, which I haven't done all day because the red specials are active. But then at least I'm in between them. I can keep an eye on them. And at least then if one tries to get out of bed, I'm there. If the other one then tries to, I'm in between them, like I'm equal. I can. And she was moaning. I was like, I physically can't like do more. I'm keeping an eye on 3 red specials on my own, and she's moaning at me for cracking on with my job while still trying to stay in between all of them and keep an eye on them. And that day was
Yes.
crazy. It wasn't fair the way she was moaning at me when I physically couldn't do more. I had no more pairs of hands. I didn't have another set of eyes.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Sometimes it's just impossible.
It is.
And the others do not understand. That makes me really mad.
Yeah.
But you know.
And I think as well, to have a matron moan, I'm like, surely as an experienced nurse, you should understand that I can't do all of this on my own. The reds are meant to be one-to-ones. How I can't one-to-one 3 patients. That is impossible. And for her to still stand there and moan at me whilst walking around, she didn't offer to help. She just moaned and walked off.
Yeah. Oh dear Lord.
Yeah.
That's a chaotic shift.
Yes.
Well, sounded like just from your first description, really.
Yeah.
What they don't teach you in uni, but should.
Being organised, because they're not organised. I think they tell you about exams and they want you to get it done, but I think what I tend to do that helps me, or especially as an apprentice, is do a bit by bit. Well, I think a lot of people try to sit down in a few sittings and get like essays done. I prefer doing bit by bit, because then if I've got like a spare hour or something, I can crack on and do some. Then when on a day where like I might have a full day to do it or something, I've got less to do. And when it gets closer and closer, I'm like, right, you know what? I've actually got a lot more done than I realised. I think try not to pressure yourself into doing so much of your essays all at once when you can spread it out.
Yeah.
And then you can during that time as well, you can also do some of the other work you have to do rather than rushing and putting pressure on yourself to do everything all at once. Yeah.
If compassion had a smell, what would it be?
I feel like it would be something quite soft and subtle.
Right.
Like vanilla. I don't know. I think everyone likes it, but like it's a nice, relaxing smell as well. It makes you feel really good.
What I've became a nurse because
I enjoy medical things. Like you can come across so many different things, which I find like super interesting. Like on the trauma and orthopedics ward, which we were on placement together. Um, like you can come across so many different things, and it's just so interesting and how different things are treated and dealt with. Like no patient's injury or case is like the same, so it's always different, which is what I really like.
what will you never forget?
The friends and like the connections and relationships I make whilst working in the hospital. Trauma bonding.
What's your go-to stress busting technique?
Oh, weightlifting, going to the gym and lifting up big heavy circles.
First thing you do when you walk into a ward.
Oh my gosh. Oh mate, I'm going straight to the staff room, putting my bag down, getting a coffee or a tea.
Oh yeah, yeah. Most challenging skill to master so far.
Mm, cannulation. Only because on elderly patients it's really tough, especially if you've got them fidgeting all the time and you need to not like go through the vein. It's tough when they're constantly moving.
Best advice you received during your training.
Ooh. Speak up when you need to.
Well done.
Otherwise you'll get like nowhere in challenging situations.
Yeah. And also I've heard, do not do any shortcuts on your knowledge
No.
or while you're starting as a
Mhm.
nurse.
Yeah.
One thing you wish patient knew about nursing.
That they're not the only patient we have to look after. We sometimes get 9, 12, 15. Like, it obviously depends, but they need to know that it's not just them we need to look after. There's a lot more.
Favorite area of nursing to work in?
Um, I like trauma and orthopedics. I love an ED because of the difference and the change and the fast pace and intensity they have.
How do you unwind after a long shift?
Um, Eating my favourite food or sweet treats.
One item you can't live without in your nurse bag.
Pens. They always go missing. Someone always nicks them.
One thing you wish you knew before you starting your training.
Ooh. How challenging it can be, and I wish I worked on my organisation skills before starting.
What's your favorite nursing related podcast or resource?
That's
That's the right answer. Right. I will contract you. What's the most unexpected part of your nursing training?
I don't really know. A lot of it has been pretty like straightforward and related to nursing, I guess.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything unexpected.
What's your favorite nursing related meme or joke? Meme or joke?
It will be something to do with the different types of nurses there are. I think of how
Nurse
they do.
John.
Yes, Nurse John, all day, every day.
It's so good.
Yeah,
He's coming to England though.
I know. I really wanted tickets, but
it's crazy.
yeah,
That's it. That's all for me. Thank you so much for coming.
that's all right.
And you, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. It's so important for me you subscribe. So please do it as a support. And if you like to see this kind of videos, I know this is very cliche and sounds very weird, but it's so important. Please subscribe and thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Woo! Episode number 5!